Yeah, that's probably going to be the case. So Pegy did play Freeze Mage, and we believe it's going to be Control Warrior, and he had that Druid with the mind control tech there, the infamous mind control tech that's was able to steal Tyrion. In any case, we are going to game one of the series. It is going to be the Control Warrior. It seems like, at least looking at his hand, yeah, that's Chill Sam definitely indicates that against the Zoo. Now, traditionally, Zoo was a good matchup against. Control Warrior, unless they got Fire War X early on. And we're talking about, late 2014 here. The last time this matchup was kind of this way. But, yeah, I mean, one big factor in this day and age, the fact that, Zoo has such big minions nowadays that you can't really just win the game early on as Warrior. And so it requires, getting, for options in the future, getting those, removal options. And, things like Brawl can be definitely go a long way. So we'll be on the lookout to see if Pegy has teched in, two Brawls in his deck. It's almost inconceivable to not to have at least one Brawl, but we'll see what happens here out.
Yeah, actually,
Right.
Peggy very interestingly mowed away his uh, brawl in the beginnings. So definitely see what comes out here. And actually, one of the ways that um, Zhu wins this matchup is that simply the warrior runs out of steam, but not the case here. He has the Echo of Pain that could draw a card, and he also has that Bash that could potentially draw him a card.
Yeah, you mean the slam. Bash actually
Oh,
doesn't draw
Slam,
you card.
yes.
And any case, um, the Void Walker coming out here for excuse me, LiBo is actually kind of a red flag here for Pegy. The fact that Snake went out of his way, or Snake's LiBo, excuse me, went out of his way to play that card means that he almost certainly has a pretty potent demon in his hand at the moment. So Peggy's going to be out on the lookout for that one. So we have a choice here between Angry Chicken, Stone Tusk Spore, and the Mortal Coil. I imagine you go Mortal Coil, right? I mean, unless you want to push one
Right.
damage to the face. You get a card out of it and everything, so... Yeah, and then the second thing here is going to be... Okay, so you had a choice between the Abusive Sergeant and the Soulfire. Soulfire is more damage, but it's obviously it discards a card, so this is a bit more safe in this instance. And I imagine it's just going to be, yeah, it's just going to buff this guy up, run either your Imp or your Voidwalker in, and Mortal Coil, draw a card. Oh wait, you can't Mortal Coil anymore. My mistake. So that's going to be nice and easy. Get rid of that, and this is a pretty tough board for Pegy to deal with.
Harrison doesn't do anything. You can draw a card um, with that Akala.
Right. It
Oh,
looks like he's gonna get rid of this first. It's also gonna kill off the Void Caller. It's gonna bring out this guy, and whether it's Mal'Ganis or not, he can just kill it off with Shield Block, Hero Power, Shield Slam. So this is kind of nice. We actually see Deathwing in the hand of Pegy, which is very occasionally seen, but not completely not seen. If that makes any sense. But that's kind of cool. Mal'Ganis comes into the hand of Snake's LiBo, but doesn't have too much damage on the field, only 4, so not going to be able to kind of push too much damage here.
yeah. Actually, one thing about LiBo is that very interestingly, he is the only guy we've seen so far with all golden cards.
Right, it's because he's definitely pay to win here from from LiBo. It's just that's that dirty man playing for all his cards now. I always love how people on Reddit just get mad, or people on the ladder like, why you pay for your stuff? It's like, well, I have the option to, so there's that. In any case, we do have kind of an awkward situation. My favorite word apparently, because now that someone pointed that out in cast, like every time I say it, I just can't stop thinking about it. But yeah, so kind of a weird situation where didn't want to give it too many cards, so utilizes the owl here. Definitely makes sense against Control Warrior. Not too many you know things to use it on. Basically, it's Sylvanas and that's it, and you don't even know Sylvanas is in the deck, so definitely makes sense to go with that. But yeah, just going to be Harrison Jones and the Armorsmith coming out here. Still on 31 life is Pegy. So the way for LiBo to win this is to get a bunch of big guys on the field that can't be dealt with. Wow, he's actually committing to this Doomguard. Interesting. I think you actually just tap first if you're gonna do this, so that you have a higher chance of getting rid of something unimportant. But it looks like he deems this power voluming good enough to play it out before the Doomguard if he indeed is sticking to that plan. Gonna go ahead and take out this Harrison Jones. Now that he has an answer for this Harrison Jones, he might actually back off of his plan of playing the Doom Guard. We will see.
Yeah, and no matter what happens, the
Oh, okay, this is
deathwing
actually
is really.
huge. 2 and 3 chance of LiBo, you're playing with me. You're playing with my mind, LiBo. Please commit to something. Anyway, so he's gonna go with the Flame Him and just leave the Doom Guard in hand, realizing that it's a bit damaging if you get rid of all your options here. And Grom comes in hand. That's one more option that can be used for Pegy to be able to kind of deal with the board here. Most likely not. I mean, I guess LiBo is at 21 health, so it could be an option for him to start pushing for damage on the face. But we'll see who he goes with in the future here. Attacking with that Armor Smith actually allows LiBo to kill that off with the Abuse Sergeant. Looks like he's committing to the Mal'Ganis though. This definitely makes sense because now he can kind of just dump his hand and then use the Doom Guard and he wouldn't have to discard anything.
Do you play Deathwing here? I guess it's kind of.
You could. You'd only leave a 4/4. You could attack with your Armor Smith horse. Actually, you don't even leave a 4/4. You could kill it with your face. That's actually not
Yeah.
too bad. But you do get rid of Grom, which is kind of messy. Maybe you just kill off. Huh. So what is that? That's Revenge? Yeah, so it looks like it's going to be Revenge into hit the. Oh. He's just going to face sink the Mal'Ganis?
I
Interesting.
don't think that you sell out your father to deal with it.
Oh. Oh, right. Yeah, you don't want to throw away. Wait, who's the father? I forgot who's the father. But yeah,
Grom is the father, and Garrosh is the son.
why is Garrosh commanding his father? That's kind of awkward. Anyway, gonna go with a lot of damage to face. Is perfectly willing to get rid of that, but gonna be a huge board here, which means that we might just see Deathwing this coming turn.
I mean, Garrosh is not only commenting his own father, he's commenting Anduin's father as well. So
All right. Well,
that's
unfortunately I'm not too versed in the lore, but we're gonna see Deathwing, no problem getting rid of this Armor Smith, and LiBo just sitting there like, what has just happened here? Power overwhelming means he can't even use his Defender of Argus, and that is the most satisfying way to win a game. You Deathwing and your opponent concedes. So, game 1 goes over to Pegy. That was awesome.
yeah. Yeah, actually, I have to give the credit to Zuiwo there. He knows that this is coming, so he banned the Warrior Arise.
Right. Unfortunately, he couldn't ban out the mind control tech, but
I mean, he could attack the 1/1 into the Asian Lord. I mean,
yeah, this is true. But this is actually a story from two series ago, so we won't get too far into it. But you can't really blame him too much for not playing around a card that's not seen that often in Druid, and then you also want to get as much damage to face to finish out the game. But in any case, it's going to be going to game 2 with Pegy leading 1-0. He has Freeze Mage and Druid left, and he's going to be going off against the Shaman, the Zulok, and the Paladin of LiBo here. So just looking at these lineups, again, Druid's going to be a bit vulnerable here.
well, yeah, that's the fascination that we always have in Conquest format, that Dre was excellent in last year's standing, can be problematic. So,
well, we are going to see Shaman first here. And typically, Freeze Mage does well against aggressive decks, but we've said this before. It's actually not that great of a matchup.
LiBo has himself.
Sorry?
LiBo has himself, the Tunnel Truck.
Okay. So apparently, is it because he looks like Tunnel Truck?
Yeah.
Now that you've mentioned it, he does kind of look like Tunnel Truck. That's kind of funny, actually. So apparently, LiBo he got himself on turn 1, apparently because he looks exactly like Tunnel Trog. And hopefully you can ride himself to victory. But Pegy, so cruel, taking out LiBo, just fire blasting him in the face. Mad Scientist and the Fire Blast pairing up with, Mad Scientist and Jaina pairing up there to kill off LiBo. Such a cruel fate. But yeah, it's going to be the Acolyte hitting the field, which means that LiBo has to commit an attack here, lest he give his opponent many cards. So yeah, that's going to be the play. Going to put some, wolves on the field here. Gonna get a couple of knives as well. And this is a nice time to get this out before your opponent really is able to freeze anything. I mean, obviously Conical is available, but can't freeze everything here. And Frost Nova you want to pair with Doomsayer, so it's a nice time to get this out for LiBo, and he's putting a lot of pressure on. But before before Shrink pointed out that LiBo played himself on turn one, I wanted to mention that this is actually a favorite matchup for the Shaman because of what we just saw LiBo draw, and that is the Doomhammer. You can't always freeze the face every single time, and it's just so devastating.
Uh, Actually, this is an interesting decision because LiBo didn't want to give secrets to Peggy, but he was kind of in the impression that he would give. Sometimes you just proc the block and you kill the scientific, give your opponent another ice block from the deck, but not the case here. And LiBo is looking really good here.
Yeah, definitely LiBo's looking very good here. He can do 10 damage right now. I imagine you just go for it. And because you just use up all your mana here. So gonna put 10 damage to the face. It's going to put his opponent down to 5, I believe. And so much pressure onto Pegy here. He can play another, ice, or excuse me, a Frost Nova and an Ice Barrier, but you're not. It's kind of a band-aid, not an actual, heal, not an actual fix for the situation. So we'll see what happens here, but definitely Pegy on the back foot. So yeah, looks like that's going to be the option here for him. So gonna freeze the board once more. Gonna go back to up to an effective 13 health, and we'll see what LiBo can do about that. I'm almost certainly going to be hero powering first here, so that he can potentially get some spell damage. But so let's see. He's gonna get him down to 9, and even with 7, he's not gonna be able to kill him this turn. So actually, he could. If it was a spell damage on him. Actually, he could have popped the block if this was the spell damage, because he could have Urshok his own guy. But in any case, it's not going to be enough damage this turn no matter what, because it wasn't a spell damage someone. And what's he thinking about here? So 3, 6, 7, 8. 8 plus 4 is 12. 12 is not 13. Sorry, LiBo. You cannot pop the block right now. No matter how much you recount and recount, it's not going to be the case. The saddest thing, of course, would be to see him Urshok his Argent Horse Rider to try to go for a kill there. But that's not going to be the case either.
Yeah, actually, Healing Totem is one of the best totem that LiBo can get, except for Swing Power.
Yeah, other than the spell time or something, because it does heal here. But this Frostwolf is going to get cleared off, and the Ice Lance is going to hit the face as well. Which is unfortunate for LiBo because now he can't. Wait, let's see. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So if he gets spell damage, he has lead. No, he can just lead. He can pop the block right now if he wants to.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
so,
I mean,
actually, he can do without even using the Urshok. What am I saying? So he's gonna go ahead and do that. It's not too much of a commitment to use both of these spells because you're probably gonna get more in the future anyway.
yeah, and I think you use the stroke here, do you? Because you want to deny the card draw.
Yeah, I think
And
you
there's
just so as well. I mean, your opponent has 3 cards in hand. It's just so devastating to get rid of the cards. So, and there's the spell damage. It wasn't actually a mistake to do that last because he wanted to get his one down to 1. Although it didn't really matter if he got him down to 2, I suppose. Because I mean,
yeah,
nothing deals 1, but I mean, you could get the steering totem, I suppose. Anyway, it shouldn't really matter here. Pegy is going to go ahead and ping his guy. He needs Ice Block into Alexstrasza. Not going to get it, and that's going to be game. Pegy is going to concede, and LiBo is going to tie up the series 1-1.
yeah. I mean, this is the power of the Face Shaman that you can be a freeze mage quickly enough that freeze mage doesn't have enough time to build up defenses, and it will be an interesting decision for both players to what to play next because freeze mage are great against Zhu, but Zhui not so much.
Wait.
And,
Was Peg? What was that LiBo face right there? Was he trying to impersonate the Tunnel Trug? He had this really weird face, like he had.
You might well be because the meme is so popular, and I don't think that LiBo is ignorant of that. So.
He was like had his lips kind of down and like kind of in a trog like fashion, I dare say, but I was like, what is he doing with his face? Oh, wait a second. Okay, not so much anymore, but earlier it definitely looked like that could have been the case. Oh my goodness. Alright, so Warlock and Paladin for LiBo, and Freeze Mage and Druid left for Pegy. We'll see what happens here. Gonna be the Freeze Mage. And Freeze Mage does have a favorite matchup against Zoo. Zoo has taken wins off of it though before, and the three options, or the three things that Zoo can do, other than, you know, hope that the Freeze Mage has a horrible hand, is to go for Loatheb, which is the number one thing to completely shut off what Freeze Mage can do. Number two is to go for is to have the Mal'Ganis, which really, you know, messes with the Freeze Mage's ability to kill you. And then number three, you have Dr. Boom, which is always annoying for Freeze Mage to deal with. So looks like Pegy is playing right into the hand of LiBo here, and LiBo's actually going to get a bit greedy, which could backfire if Pegy decides to just sacrifice his loot hoarder here. I'm actually going to play his Acolyte Pain afterward, which is pretty interesting. But in any case, there is a clean kill on this Acolyte of Pain. If he uses Spectral Spider, if he tries to use his Nerubian Egg, it's not going to die anyway. Could we see an Owl? No, yeah, you kind of want to save that for the Doomsayer. It's very, very important in this matchup. So I'm going to do that. Needs to get some power on the board, so I'm going to put that Knife Trigger there as well. So kind of an annoying board for LiBo, but he's only done 1 damage to face, which is a big deal. Bad, pretty... not the worst Conical placement because the egg is in the middle, but still not the greatest either. But just going to be a Frostbolt and a Ping. That's 1 Frostbolt gone for Pegy. Obviously, you want to be as defensive as possible. You're not too worried about, you know, killing your opponent. But at the same time, that is something that LiBo could potentially, you know, keep in mind. So, Abusive Sergeant or Soulfire here. Soulfire is nice, but it's unusable for a long time, and it could be unusable for basically the entire game if you don't get the right Void Caller, you know, minions out. So I like that play, and this is kind of the problem with, you know, not doing enough damage early in the game, right? Because now you're affording Pegy, aka the Freeze Mage, the opportunity to go ahead and play out an Acolyte. Whereas a lot of times on turn 5, if Zoo has enough creatures on board, you can't do that, right? You know, you don't have the time. You're already down at, you know, 20 or 18. There's a ton of damage on board, and now we're going to turn 6, and Pegy has 28 health, which is really significant. Now he just plays out his Thaurissan.
Yeah, but good news for LiBo here is that he haven't tapped too much. He doesn't too much as well, so definitely. Oh, he's sacrificing the egg. Oh, I guess he has a second egg and he has an owl as well, so that's understandable. And giving away the taunt as well.
LiBo's gonna tap here last because he hates me, and he's just... All right, there we go. And also bad conical placement, but and we'll overlook that. So just gonna be looks like a flame strike here. I mean, you could mess around and, you know, try to get some sort of conical Doomsayer out there, but I do kind of like the flame strike. I mean, you're high enough life total that doesn't really matter too much. And then he's just gonna go for that. Yeah, everyone's trying to trigger me, right? But yeah, so it goes for the Doomsayer. The upside of this is that you could bait out the owl, and then you can just flame strike the owl, and it does use 2 of your opponent's mana, which is kind of reasonable. But I mean, the more I look at this game, it's hard to see LiBo winning, because I mean, Pegy's at 24 health, and I mean, he has some pretty good options in hand, and on top of that, I mean, he has so much time to draw into more.
Yeah, I think what you can do here is since your own thing, and I think you tap first.
I mean, yeah, usually you tap first, but yeah, I mean, looks like he's gonna use Power Whelming plus Implosion, which will guarantee kill it. He's gonna Power Whelming his Imp, which makes sense because he doesn't want his egg dying too easily to, or sorry, the Nerubian dying too easily to like a Flame Strike, something like that. But it's gonna go ahead and do that play instead. Rolls for 2, which isn't actually the biggest deal here. It was basically 3 or 2. There wasn't any 4 in that situation. But Pegy's gonna get aggressive here. Gonna just Alex Shaw's his opponent's face and put the heat on him, realizing that there's no real way he's gonna die.
Yeah.
And he's actually seen two power whelmings, hasn't he, already? I think.
No, I think only one because the Nubian egg was probed by abusive dodging, I think.
Well, in any case, he's seen a lot of potential burst damage out of his opponent, so it definitely makes sense for him to go with this. How much damage does he have right now? Only the 6, it looks like, or I guess 8, because he could use the Blood Mage Thanos. Um, hmm. A few options here. I mean, I imagine you can't really flame strike. It doesn't really do too much. So yeah, we could just see just Blood Mage Thanos as well as the Ice Barrier and probably a ping on one of these minions on the field. But or maybe just ping the face, right? Because I mean, the clock on your opponent is pretty valuable here.
Yes, and BJH one turn too late.
Absolutely. So Defender Varg is going to come out here just to be annoying, and he's actually just going to get rid of everything, even the owl, and just attack everything in the face here. Unfortunately for LiBo's sake, there is a blizzard now, which won't even kill off the Nerubian egg. So that's a bit unfortunate.
Yeah, actually, the Defender August is really interesting here. That it only gives you 2 attack and it, three health. Nerubian egg is gonna be awkward, and yeah. I think you actually wanted to uh,
Yeah, he.
throw away the defending augurs more than you want to save the owl
Uh,
there.
well, in any case, kind of desperate times here for LiBo. It's actually gonna, Mortal Coil his own minion here. It looks like he's heading for the egg here, and picks up an in-game boss for his trouble. Unfortunately, most of this board will die to Flame Strike, and there's 2 ice blocks. I mean, I believe that's ice block. He's already played 2 ice barriers, if I remember
Uh,
correctly.
no, it's
It's ice block.
I,
There you go.
I
No, I'm just kidding. So yeah, there's going to be ice block, and will he ping the face? Okay, he's finally going to ping a minion here. Going to kill off that Doctor Boom, and out comes the Doomsayer, which means that it's either heal for 7 or the entire board dies, which is obviously bad for LiBo here. Probably going to see the Void Caller and the Defender of Argus, which okay, I guess he wants to get that out of Flame Strike range, but he's already seen one Flame Strike. But I mean, for Pegy's sake, he can just keep pinging the face unless he sees a Mal'Ganis. And I think I would like to see a Frost Nova here. I don't know. Just
uh,
to prevent his opponent from doing anything crazy. But
I don't think really care because
okay, so a bunch of damage coming to the face. LiBo obviously can't tap because then he'd be dead. Unfortunately, he doesn't get Mal'Ganis this turn. But any damage in the hand of Pegy will finish the game. It looks like he's not going to go for it. Going to go for the Frost Nova this time, which is, I mean, he could have prevented a lot of damage, but I suppose. So Mal'Ganis is very important here. If he doesn't have a Mal'Ganis, he's going to die pretty soon. He needs, over the next 2 turns he needs it. Doesn't get it. Picks up an Implosion, which he can use here, but I imagine he can't. Yeah, he can't use Implosion here because otherwise he can't play Mal'Ganis next turn. So just going to have to pass is LiBo. And still waiting on any sort of damage from Pegy. Gonna go with the Arcane Intellect, and finally he
oh
picks it up.
that's
That's going to be the Frostbolt. All right, so there you go. After a long time waiting, Pegy finally picks up the game, and it's going to be 2-1 in favor of Pegy.
yeah. How did this happen, DT?
How did what happen?
Peggy is going to go out of the group stage and go into the playoffs.
I feel sorry for Pegy now. Neither of us picked him. Like, he is the only person that we didn't pick. I picked NoTomorrow and Zuiwo, and you picked LiBo and Zuiwo. Poor Pegy.
We,
I mean,
we, we we should have made Rapid pick someone. He would probably pick someone.
I think
Which
Rapid probably
would,
picked not Pegy either. That's why Peggy's doing so well. It's a caster's curse.
yeah, I had Peggy in my mind, but
I mean, you were talking about how LiBo has really good draws, so that's why he was going to get out of the group. But Pegy is the master of the 1 and 4. 1 in 4 Avenge, 1 in 4 Mind Control Tech. So that's why Peggy's gonna get out of this group. He's got that 1 in 4 down. Anyway, all jokes aside, we are going to be going into game number 4. Pegy is on match point. He is 1 game away from advancing to the round of 16, but he is going to be going against an unfavored matchup here. And in the next game, if he loses this game, it's going to be the Zulok and the Secret Paladin in the next game, and doesn't have any early drops and doesn't have any ramp either, so not looking too good for pegging this game. You know, maybe we just double jinxed him. We reverse jinxed him, I guess would be the phrase here. We were saying, you know, he's going to get out of this group now because we didn't believe in him, and now that we believe in him, he's not going to get out.
That could well be a possibility, but yeah. Druid.
Yeah, Druid not looking too good for Pegy here. And this is the classic, you know, Druid conundrum, right? I mean, he might not play the Keeper here, but yeah, do you Keeper the Egg or do you Keeper the Flame Imp? If you kill the Flame Imp, it's more tempo now, but if you don't kill the Egg now, then you could be a 4-4 in the future, which is obviously very difficult for not only Druid, but most classes to deal with.
You play Mind Control Tech, don't you?
Yeah, where's the Mind Control Tech now, Pegy? No. So he's going to go ahead and silence this Egg off, which is, you know, frustrating if you're Pegy. Still leaving a lot of damage on the board. And what do you know? It's Implosion. But, yeah, probably just going to see this Abusive Sergeant come out. We'll be able to fill the board even without this Implosion, which is pretty crazy. So just going to kill that off nice and easy. Imagine we're just going to see second Void Walker and the Haunted Creeper. I mean, against other decks that are better at clearing the board, you want to be tapping more in these situations. But against Druid, you just fill the board as much as possible, and they have no way to deal with it.
Yes, that's true. I've seen the chat talking about Eloise. I don't think Eloise has participated in any of this.
It was a joke about
qualification.
the female caster and among the Chinese casters. So don't you worry, Shrink. They don't actually think that Eloise is here. But gonna be okay. It looks like he's gonna go for a Doomguard. I guess this makes sense. I mean, you have no use for Implosion anytime in the future, and Doomguard is extremely potent right now. No way for Druid to deal with this, and 6 mana, and looking very bad for pegging in this game.
Oh, interesting. He's actually floating 1 attack.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, he used 7 attack on that Druid the Claw. I mean...
Oh, right. But he just didn't want... He valued the 1/3 Void Walkers. Because they're pretty valuable as far as, you know, preventing Druid from being able to do anything. But, yeah, just going to put this 2/4 on the board. Unfortunately, it's not going to, you know, spawn any Imps if there is a clear on it, but... Can Pegy hold on here? Picks up an Innervate, that's very important, and all of his cards are discounted because of the risk with the Horus and last turn. So, you know, can potentially get something done here. Looks like he can start off with a Wrath for 1, I believe. Yes, that's going to be the case. And Paladin Treasure as well as a swipe on the in-game boss, and most of this board is cleared now. So how much is left here? 3 damage on board left, and that's pretty huge. But this Defender of Argus is pretty huge as well. And are we going to see a Lothab or the Defender of Argus? Obviously, tap first. Lothab definitely makes sense. It kind of slows your opponent from being able to do anything this turn. Has to kind of commit a minion. In the meantime, your Lothab almost certainly gets an attack in the face. You also have Defender of Argus for future turns. So it looks like it's going to be a healing as well as this Darnassus coming out. Pegy holding on for dear life. And let's see what happens here. So, the maximum total damage, 5, 6, 7 plus 2 is 9. A bit off is LiBo, but he has made Pegy use his Ancient Lore for healing, which is very important. He obviously has, you know, hero power that can continuously gain cards, which is nice. But we'll see what he goes for here. I imagine it's just going to be the Defender of Argus and the Imp King boss. Unless he starts trading things off, the Implosion doesn't really do a whole lot. But actually, it looks like he's going to start trading stuff off for that very purpose. Okay, no, I'm just kidding. Going to do a half trade, hit everything else to the face. Looks like the Darnassus was a bit annoying as far as clearing stuff off. 11.1% chance, it says, for him to draw the Force of Nature. Gonna go with Raven Idol. Imagine it's going to be a spell, despite having a lot of spells. Starfall could be a thing. Recycle isn't that great. It's kind of expensive and clunky. But Starfall could do some work here. I mean, you can just get rid of the Lothab right away. So, I mean, yeah, there's almost no reason you pick the Recycle here. Unless you're worried about future turns.
Yeah, I mean, what you are really going to recycle?
Yeah, I mean, worst case scenario, you just Starfall for 5 on the Lothab. But, yeah, what are we going to see here? We could just see Savage Roar as well as Starfall, but maybe you want to hold on to that. So, no, he's going to go ahead, take out that Lothab, and innovate into his own Lothab. And what are we going to see here? Are we going to see an attack to the face or no? Because he might want to just start pushing damage. Nope, he's going to actually trade.
Oh, that's a misplay. I mean, if he attacked first, he would be able to use the hero power.
Oh, right, that is true. That is, it's not something you think about too often. Getting the Planet-Sized Summer. You usually think about the bad things being the Doomsayer. And you think about all the bad things, and the good things are usually the Direwolf Alpha and the Flametongue Totem if you're using that for trading. But yeah, you never really think about the good things as far as getting mana reduction. But is that lethal here? 5, 10 plus 6, 12.
Yes.
That is lethal. Wow, okay, I just missed that. Well, that's going to be it. Pegy somehow managed to hold on, and he is going to be your first player out of this group.